I would like to say it's very interesting how this crowd was asking for a woman to speak, and then when women came up to speak, they drowned her out and didn't let her speak. There's no pleasing this crowd. I'm David Umstead. I am a Austinite here. I've been for a seventh generation Austinite, and I would like to make the scientific argument for why pro-life is the correct position to have. You see, this whole debate comes down to when a child is defined as being a child. I would hope that we can all agree that killing a 1-year-old is wrong. And if you don't, then I would probably ask the police to keep an eye on you there, because I'm not very safe with you being here. Hopefully we can all at least agree that killing a 1-year-old is wrong. So the difference between us is when we define a child as having their human rights. So what are the main differences between an unborn child and a born child that would somehow justify us being able to kill one and not kill the other? Well, there are 4 scientific differences, and they spell out an acronym. There's size, level of development, environment, and dependency. And none of these are individually a justification for why we should be able to say that someone is not alive. Now let me go through them one by one. Size. Just because someone is small does not mean that they are not human. There are very many short people that I know, and that doesn't make them less of a human than I am. Very often women are shorter than men, and that does not mean that they are less of humans than men are. So size should have no bearing on whether or not we should decide to kill one person and not kill the other. The other is level of development. You do not fully develop, at least men do, until you're 25 years old. It is an arbitrary distinction that if you are not fully developed, you are therefore not human. And there is no scientific justification for saying that at this state you suddenly are human or are not human. There is no way that development can have a difference in this, given how different people develop at different rates, but everyone has the same rights. Or someone lives in Moscow, or someone lives inside of someone else, has no bearing on whether or not they should receive their human rights. The 4th distinction is dependency. Just because someone is dependent upon someone else to exist does not give you the right to kill them. A newborn child is almost completely dependent upon its mother, and yet it is the most immoral thing to kill that child. In the same way that an unborn child is completely dependent upon its mother, it is also immoral to kill that child. Just because someone is dependent upon an artificial lung or an artificial heart does not make them less human and does not take away their human rights. And in the same way that unborn children are dependent upon their mothers does not take away their human rights. The pro-choice lobby is using antiquated science, antiquated philosophy, and antiquated understandings of the very nature of the universe to justify their genocide of my generation.